I'm sure we're all aware of the Greatest Gathering, and if you've been reading the posts that I've been putting out on this channel, you'll know that I went on the Cretan Explorer, which was a Class 57 hauling a Class 390, and this rail tour got early access to the Greatest Gathering on Thursday the 31st of July. As you can see, the journey begins with a ScotRail Class 43, bringing us from Dundee Platform 1 to Edinburgh Waverley, where we will change from the Class 43 to the first Class 390, not the one on the rail tour, but the one that will take us from Edinburgh Waverley to Crewe, where we will then be greeted by the Cretan Ward Explorer. But before that happened, just after we got off the Pendolino, the first one from Edinburgh, something pretty crazy was happening at the other side of Crewe Station that I ran to go and see. I must say, I don't actually know what was going on with this move, but basically it was just a random Class 67 that I think might have actually gone to the Greatest Gathering, but either way I was getting hauled by a Class 66 and I ran to go and see it. After that, the 390 that brought us to Crewe from Edinburgh departed, and many other cool things happened soon after. But that wasn't the last of the Class 67s for today. No, this Transport for Wales set departed Crewe with 67029 pushing it.
Manchester Piccadilly, calling at Wilmslow, Stockport and Manchester Piccadilly. This train is formed of 11 coaches.
Another wee side mission emerged when 66711 was spotted at the other side of Crewe, and we ran over to get a good video of it. And all of a sudden, before we knew it, our time at Crewe was up, as the Cretan Ward Explorer was already heading our way. "57-307 was quite a nice sight to see, although unfortunately we didn't get that much time to appreciate it, as it was time to get on board. And with 290s in the background, lots of train spotters waiting to see us leave, and some good old fun ahead of us, it was time to leave Crewe and head off to Derby, where the main events will take place. Just want as many people as I thought. My lovely horse.
Good afternoon, very warm welcome on board this slightly delayed the Cretan Ward Explorer charter train to Derby Litchurch Lane. My name is Brad, I'm one of two.
The journey itself was really fun, as we ran alongside a freight train, went on some extremely rare track,
That was actually one of the people on the rail trail from the UK actually said that.
And for the whole time, we were actually being followed by a Network Rail helicopter that was filming the entire journey. And you can actually see it at the Greatest Gathering. As we enter Derby, things are about to get a lot more exciting. As you can see here, the platform is actually fenced off a fair bit due to the fact that everyone was crowding on the platforms trying to see all the trains getting moved into the Greatest Gathering. But that's not all. When we actually stop at Derby Station, the 57 is going to have to detach from the front of the train and go around to the back so that it can pull us into the Greatest Gathering. But quite a lot of things happen in that time that were slightly unexpected. But here's the problem. I actually don't have a lot of footage from the events that took place on the platform, but basically, we all quite a lot of us, were running about the place trying to see and find out when that 57 was going to come back. During this time, an announcement was made that it was going to appear on platform 2, and just as I run up the stairs, I look through the window overlooking the track, and I notice a 57 hurtling down the track on the platform I had just left. So I sprint down to try and see it, and this is the video I got. Surprisingly, that wasn't too bad, but this is the video of the 57 now, returning to attach on to the other side of the Pendolino. And no, unfortunately, I am not that tall. I am just holding up my phone very high. Shout out to this one random legend who was holding his tripod really high up in the sky. Probably got quite a nice video. The Pendolino was actually locked for a while, so I sort of just chilled about Derby Station. I wandered around the platforms that were free, walked up the stairs, enjoyed just quite a nice station.
Please do bear in mind when we get on site there is still lots going on preparing the site for the next couple of days. It's still a bit of work in progress, so please do take care when walking around the site. Please make sure that you're being careful when you're stepping over rails, onto ballast and away from any slippery items.
A lot happened that I'm not going to show, as I don't want this video to be 10 hours long. Basically, we get into the Greatest Gathering, we're sat on the train for way too long, as we're already late. We finally get off the train through one door. That's 500 people getting off the Cretan Ward Explorer from one door. Then we don't get that much time to appreciate everything, as we're rushed onto a test track. And on the test track, it's the same one door thing that they put almost 500 people on this train. Only for it to go up one way, break down for 10 minutes, go the other way, and then break down for about half an hour. In the end, due to the test track breaking down and the Cretan Ward Explorer getting into the Greatest Gathering late, we lost basically about an hour. And this is a catastrophe, because overall we are only going to get 2 hours of this earlier access experience. So, thankfully, and I don't think they were actually going to be able to get people out anyway after all the delays, But thankfully, they just gave us about half an hour or an hour, I didn't actually count, more time, extra time. And with that, we made the most of it. We explored and we saw basically everything. Maybe not as much as we should have. Personally, I think they should have just given us an extra half an hour. We would have seen everything. But I'll leave you with a nice montage of everything we saw. And around the corner was the one and only Class 89. Interestingly, there was also a model railway exhibit set up in one of the sheds. But hidden behind 37401, and hidden next to 37418, and hidden in front of 57003 was the only working Class 58. As the time came for the Greatest Gathering early access to close, me and my family were actually the last people to leave, and whilst the security workers were rushing us out, we caught sight of my favourite locomotives. The brilliant Class 55 Deltics. I've been wanting to see these properly for a very long time, and seeing them here was just incredible. You can see just how empty it is from these videos, as, like I said previously, we were the last people here. And as we were leaving, we had the same idea as many other people, and we just stuck our phones through the fences and filmed all the trains that we didn't get to see. Doing this actually allowed us to get some good photos of the trains that we didn't get to see earlier, although since they were quite far away, we didn't get to see what some of their numbers were. Then, I managed to find a view that allowed me to see all the other trains that we didn't get to see, such as the Class 40, the 45s, some extra 66s, the Europhoenix 91, and some different angles of the 60 and 56. Although it didn't allow us to see some things that were in the middle of this cluster of trains, such as the Class 70. You know how I quite often train spot in random fields and call it the random field technique? Well, in this scenario, we used the random car park technique. And this actually worked out perfectly, as you can see with this video of 50049 Defiance taking a jolly somewhere, and behind it you can see a lot of the other locomotives from the Greatest Gathering, and this of course was completely free, and we actually got a better view than you might get inside. Thank you very much for watching. This video took a long time to make, so if you wouldn't mind subscribing, that would be absolutely incredible. Also, I hope you enjoyed, because this was quite a fun time, and this was actually only the first day. Day 2 is pretty cool as well, so stay tuned.